What's going on, guys? This is John Vickers, owner of Explosive Performance Academy and the creator of the C4 method, where we help athletes maximize their athleticism through speed, strength, power, and multi-directional skill without gimmicky exercises and gimmicky equipment. And I'm here to break down speed for you. I want to lay out the entire system that we use to help your athletes and you as an athlete become faster. It's actually very simple, okay? But there's a big problem. There's this idea that speed cannot be taught. Yeah, I get it. There are genetics involved. Genetics are important. But every single athlete that has never done any speed training before or has done speed training wrong can get faster. So if you're an athlete or if you're a parent of an athlete that wants to get faster, then this is exactly what you need to do to help maximize your speed and take it to that next level. Okay? And we actually have 4 main principles that we use when it comes to speed development. Okay, 4 main principles. So principle number 1 is stages. Okay? So stages are the actual different phases of a linear sprint. Different phases of a linear sprint that is going to help that athlete become so much faster. When you understand this, it's going to take your speed to a completely different level. So I'm going to break this down for you. Number 2 would be stride length or strides, which this will be broken down for you as well. The different strides that are necessary to understand to maximize speed. And it's actually a very, very simple, basic thought process that's needed to actually get faster. Then we have strategies. So strategies are the actual mechanical work. The things that are necessary for an athlete to get faster by understanding proper mechanics. Okay, that's exactly how this is going to help an athlete get faster, is by understanding those strategies and ensuring that you're doing the right things to get faster. And then 4 would be systems. Without a real system, an athlete is not going to get faster. If you're just doing a bunch of random things off and on, you're not consistent with it, you have no real strategy, you have no real system, there's no chance that an athlete is ever going to get faster. So I want to break these down for you. Okay, the most important one here that we're going to talk about today would be the stages. Okay, the stages. So when it comes to stages, okay, this can be broken down into really four different stages when it comes to a linear sprint. Okay, there's the start, there's your acceleration phase, there's a transitional phase, and then there is the max velocity phase. Okay, so a linear sprint can really be broken down into like a plane taking off. Okay, a plane taking off from the ground. Okay, so if we start over here at 1, okay, this would be the start. Okay, so this is the stance, whether they're coming out of a 40-yard dash stance, just a straight up 2-point staggered stance, a baseball 60-yard dash stance, whatever type of stance it is, that's going to dictate where you can go from here. Okay, so here's your start. Okay, this is starting point. This is your start. Now, the next stage would be the acceleration stage. Okay, acceleration would be to about 10 yards. So if we're running a 40-yard dash, your acceleration is going to be about 10 yards. So you're right here. So this dot is elevated from this dot. Okay, because at this point, we are trying to maintain 45 degrees with the body. Okay, 45 degrees with the body, with a knee punch up and a drive back behind with good arms. I'm not great at drawing, but we want 45 degrees all the way through that 10 yards. So 0 yards to 10 yards. That's the acceleration phase. After the acceleration phase, we head into the transitional phase. So this is 10 yards to around 30 yards. Okay, so 10 to around 30. The transition goes from being at 45 degrees to progressively coming up out of the stance. So the athlete at this point becomes more upright. We're still getting that knee punch up. Body is tall. So good arm swing. Okay, we're starting to progressively come up. At this point, around 30 yards, this is when the athlete should be upright. Around 30 yards. So this is 11 yards to 30 yards. So we have our acceleration. And then we have transitional. Right here, stage 4, max velocity. This is 31 yards plus. Okay, so if you're running a 40-yard dash, you have 10 yards where you're max velocity. If you're running a 60-yard dash, you have 30 yards where you're at max velocity. Max velocity is all about efficiency. The more efficient you are when you're at max velocity, the faster you're going to run. Most of the time, athletes lose speed during max velocity. So if you can maintain speed during max velocity, this is going to take you and your athlete to another level. Okay, so this is the stages of a linear sprint. Your start, your acceleration, your transitional, max velocity. It's very simple, but it's not easy to perfect this. It's not easy to perfect this. It takes a lot of different steps. It takes a lot of different things to help maximize that linear sprint to understand exactly what you need. Okay, so this is all broken down pretty simple for you to understand, but there's a lot more to it than just this. Okay, so next we talk about strides. Okay, there are really 3 different strides. 3 different ways to dictate strides. You have stride length. You have stride frequency. And you have force application. Okay, all 3 of these will help improve all of these different stages of a linear sprint. So stride length. Okay, stride length. This stride length is not how far you reach out in front of you. It's not how far an athlete is reaching out in front of them when they're trying to sprint. Stride length is actually how much distance is being covered per stride. So with this, the thing with this is it is extremely, extremely important to make sure that you're driving into the ground in the proper direction, applying as much force to the ground as possible to increase your stride length. Typically, an athlete that can get here in less steps is going to run a faster 40 than somebody that would take more steps. So for example, Chris Johnson, former running back with the Tennessee Titans, ran a 4.28. He ran the fastest 40-yard dash for the longest time. He ran his 40-yard dash in 18 steps. The majority of other athletes run 21 or more steps when it comes to their 40-yard dash. Okay? So stride length is how much distance is covered per stride. Stride frequency is how fast an athlete can turn over. So how fast can we punch that knee up and get it back down to the ground by producing a lot of force? How fast can we cycle through and get the foot back down to the ground here? Same thing here. How fast can that athlete cycle their legs through to get it back into the ground, but produce a ton of force into the ground? Those are the things that are going to help improve stride frequency. And then force application. Force application is also extremely important. Force application is how you apply force into the ground. Okay, that's going to dictate your stride length. The direction that you apply a force down into the ground is going to dictate your stride length and how much force you're able to provide into the ground to propel your body forward. So during acceleration, our shin angles should be pointing back into the ground this way every time that we apply force into the ground. So we're going to propel the body out and up. Okay, so this would be acceleration. Transitional is a little bit different. So we transition from behind us to start to come a little bit more underneath. Okay, and then there's max velocity. Max velocity is down into the ground, but because of the motion of the leg, it's going to propel the body forward because the force is coming down and back. So it's going to propel the body that way. Here, the feet are going to land underneath the hips. So directly underneath the hip. If this is the hip right here, feet are going to land right here. During transitional, feet are going to land a little bit more here. I'm sorry, that's wrong. A little bit more here. During acceleration, we want the feet to land back here. Okay, so max velocity, feet are landing underneath the hips. Okay, very simple concepts. The amount of force and the direction you apply force is going to dictate your force application. Okay, and then strategies. Okay, this is all very, very simple stuff. Very technical stuff, like arm swing. Okay, how is your arm swing? Having a neutral spine. Is your body straight from head to toe? Whether you're accelerating, transitioning, or your max velocity. Do you have a neutral spine? Are you getting knee drive? Like, do you actually have the mobility to get your knees up in front of you? Do you have dorsiflexion or ankle mobility? To apply force directly into the ground. Okay, the toe up towards the shin, and then the ability of the ankle to be mobile as well as the foot. Foot and ankle mobility are extremely important when it comes to your speed and your ability to actually apply force properly into the ground. And then we have systems. So what kind of systems are you using to get faster? Okay, two of our favorites are harness resisted and sled pushes. These two are going to dictate a whole lot when it comes to your acceleration mechanics. If we can improve these acceleration mechanics, speed is going to take a whole nother level. And then we have things like fly-in sprints. These are a little bit more mechanical. These are a little bit more max velocity, where we're really working on that overspeed, the upright positioning, the ability to drive through the ground fast and explosively with a short angle behind the body. Okay, fly-in sprints, we can do overspeed as well. So things like a bungee, things like even an overspeed treadmill, things like that. Those are some of the systems that we implement to make sure that our athletes are getting faster. So as you can see, okay, there's a lot of stuff involved with this, but it's actually very simple, and it can be broken down very simple for an athlete just like you or just like yours to help you get faster. When you understand how to get faster, you understand how to do all this stuff and implement it into your training, it's going to take your speed to a whole nother level. So if you are interested in learning more about how you can implement this system into your training to help you get faster, I want you to go ahead and visit www.explosivepa.com. So it's www.explosivepa.com/C4 method land. So explosivepa.com/C4 method land. Okay, go here, click on that. I actually break down the entire system of speed and power and strength and multi-directional skill so you understand the 4 pillars necessary to maximize your overall athleticism. But go here, check that out, get that free training now, and please, if I can help you, please reach out and let me know.